Հանուն հոր եւ որդվո եւ ոգվույն սրբո Amen. Dear brothers and sisters, today we continue our series that we started a couple weeks ago, and we branded it as the windows of the cross. In the past, we learned about two windows, or the two meanings of the cross. Let's remind ourselves. First, the cross as sacrifice, and second, the cross as forgiveness. Now today we are going to learn about another meaning of the cross. Today we are going to open another window of the cross. And it is called the cross as love. Now I'm going to read you from the Gospel of Saint Matthew. Listen. When the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question to test him. Teacher, which commandment is the greatest? He said to him, You shall love your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets. Jesus died on the cross because he was the one who answered to the question of these lawyers. Jesus died on the cross because for him this was the greatest commandment. Love. Now I can preach to you until tomorrow morning something that I feel which is very important for our lives. Let's say I can preach about charity, about giving. But if you know me as a person who doesn't give at all, who doesn't contribute to charitable organizations, it will make no sense for me then to preach. And this was exactly the case with Jesus. Jesus not only preached about love, he said the words that we heard from the gospel reading. But not only that, Jesus showed his love for humankind by taking the path of the cross. So we are not called to follow the greatest commandment as an example. No. We are called to love and do as Jesus did, as Jesus loved. Now, some of you may ask and say, Pastor, if it is all about love, why do we fail to love as Jesus did? Isn't love a natural feeling, something that has been planted in us from the beginning? If it is that easy, because we all hear about love from the songs, from movies, from novels that we read, why it is then difficult for us to love? In some, we ask, why loving is difficult? Today I will teach you why we fail to love, and how can we, the followers of Jesus, can love as Jesus did and commanded his disciples and followers to do. So let's take it. First, love is not about feelings, and this is why we fail to love. You know, we tend to connect love with feelings. And when there are no feelings, what happens? We do not love. We do not show our love. When Jesus says, for example, love your neighbor as yourself, love your enemies, and then we wait for the feelings to come. I'm waiting for the feelings to come. And they never come. then we will not love our neighbor and our enemies. But love isn't about feelings. Love includes feelings. It doesn't reject feelings, but feelings follow it, and they do not come the first. This is the difference. This is where we have a difficulty to get, my dear brothers and sisters. Jesus loved us, loved the world, not because the world was perfect or we were perfect. And so Jesus had these good feelings in himself. Oh, I am loving the world because the world is such a good place. These human beings are such nice people. No, I can say even the opposite. We were in mess, and we can easily turn our lives into a mess. We can easily turn into machines of hate, and we can hate, and we can teach others to hate. But in spite of all of this, Jesus loved us and still loves us as sinners, because Jesus wanted and still wants our salvation, what is best for us. So our first lesson is, let us love and not rely on the feelings, but let us love and then feelings will come to us. Second, love is about action and not words. So the love that Jesus had didn't make him stay where he is. You learned this famous passage from the Bible. God so loved the world that God sat down on a chair and expressed his love to the world by beautiful words. No, this isn't how the verse goes. God loved the world and he sent his Son. There is this act of sending. Jesus loved us, but he didn't stay where he is. He went to the cross. He was crucified and sacrificed for us. So the person who loves cannot stay silent. The person who loves cannot stay with folded hands and arms. No, that doesn't apply to love. When we want to be loving persons like our Lord, we must move, we must change, we must do something. You can take the example of two loving couple. They do not only limit themselves to saying words like, I love you, honey. No, they do something to each other to actively show that love. They hold each other's hands. They ask each other for marriage, to become one. They bring something to each other, a gift. They kiss each other. They hug each other. But they actively show that love. So we are called to love in action. And third, love is both vertical and horizontal. Now listen to this reading from John's first letter. Whoever claims to love God, yet hates a brother or sister, is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister, whom they have seen, cannot love God, whom they have not seen. Wow! This is a spiritual lesson given to us in a very simple and mathematical way. 1 + 1 is 2. Which is basically saying that if you love God, but then you say, I can't stand my brother and sister, so I'm going to hate him. I'm going to gossip about her. Then it doesn't work. It is very simple. If you claim to be a follower of Jesus and his cross, listen to this, then your love should include everyone. There are many faithful Christians all around the world who claim to go to church on every single Sunday, 52 Sundays a year. They pray every single day. After they wake up, before they go to bed. They come and take Holy Communion every Sunday. They worship God. They are interested in spiritual things. And yet, for some reason, they don't want to have any relationship with their brother and sister in the community, in the church. And according to what we heard from the passage, it doesn't work. Our love is authentic and true only when it includes God. This is the vertical level, dimension, and our brother and sister. I know, there are many people whom we cannot stand. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. We tried hard and hard. We changed our approaches, but they keep hurting us. And we are always misunderstanding each other. I know. I am myself. I do not like everyone's character. I do not like everyone's personality. I do not like everyone's way of talking. And that's fine. Probably that's why sometimes I limit myself to saying hi and goodbye. And that's it. And that's fine. But it doesn't mean that I have to hate this person. It doesn't mean that I have to find every possible opportunity to hurt this person, to gossip about this person. Love doesn't mean agreement in everything. Love doesn't mean uniformity. We have all to think the same thing, to believe in the same things, to hold the same opinions. That's how we can love each other. No. But listen to this. Our differences shouldn't lead us into a separation from each other. They shouldn't lead us to the point where we start to hate each other, where we start to feel disgusted by each other's presence. We have to love everyone. This is the greatest commandment that Jesus gave to his disciples and to his followers. Now think about it. What are you going to lose if you love everyone? What are you going to gain if you love everyone? Try to do a mathematical work. And I'm sure the God of science, the God of information, will grant you his blessings, will open your minds, and you will learn through it and prayerfully that you have nothing to lose but everything to gain if you love God and you love your brother and sister. Amen.